Yeah, we're gonna be getting started here pretty soon. We'll see what kind of route divergence we see from both these players as well. But yeah, the winner of this goes on to face the winner of Super Scudge and Zane. So it's gonna be a tough path for whoever takes this this set.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that there's no shortage of difficulty in a matchup like that. So right away, both runners starting off at Link's house and finding a full heart container. For all we know, it could have been Sank Heart, but health was full, and we just can't tell.
We got some sinkage.
imhughbliss and Fouton both avoiding the red guard to make sure that they can throw the sign and get the insta-kill on the blue guard instead. Getting a lot of full magic from the tree pull.
So that's our tier 1. We'll see if we'll see our tier 2 or tier 3. Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be a pretty... Oh, wow. Hold on.
You want to revise that sentence? Because it probably just got a lot more hype.
Now let's just get 10 arrows in here, and then we can go right into high roll.
You know, that's a good second. I'll take 3 bombs instead.
Yeah, I'll take it. Definitely would take that.
Fouton, what are you doing? Walking on the stairs with the pot.
And a hook shot.
Wow.
Oh, well, the nice thing about that is, you know, we already got, like, 2 potentially decent weapons to get through, like, Mini Moldering Cave, and Hookshot can also be used, as you see from imhughbliss, as a little bit better, or some movement abilities from it, being able to hookshot to certain items, certain signs, certain trees.
Number of objects in the game that you can hookshot to certainly beats walking. imhughbliss making very good use of it right away. We'll see if Fouton does the same thing. Heading north, we'll check out what's in the lumberjack tree. We'll pull this bush off of this little crab, and unfortunately he's only throwing green rupees down today.
What is this, vanilla? Man!
But those random prize packs are so much fun. And just 3 bombs in the tree. So, for that item, Aghanim will not be required. We could still see it as a necessity for routing. That remains to be seen. Obviously, we're only 2 minutes in. Get a grip, DT. We got a lot of race left. Oh, there's the 10 arrows you were talking about.
Oh, man. That would have been so convenient if that was in the secret passageway.
But would it? Because they still wouldn't have used it right then.
I would have.
What, on the wall? Yeah.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Are you
trying to make a joke?
Yeah, you waste arrows. That's all.
Oh, okay, sorry. You know, I literally just woke up, so...
Oh, wow. Well, good morning, then.
These DT jokes are going to be, like, whoosh, right over my head, a few of them.
You know,
so
most of them only make sense to me as it is, so that's quite all right.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, just what looked like a blue rupee inside the thieves' hideout. Nothing special. We'll make our way down to Kakariko. Both runners have 3 bombs, so the majority of the checks will be doable right away.
And we're going to see another tree pull. Oh, red rupees. I think that would be the tier 3.
And that would also be vanilla.
Yeah.
But that's a great one. That's one of the best tree pulls, in my opinion. Especially when you're checking them.
Yeah, we don't know what kind of rupee situation we're going to have coming out of Kakariko or Mini Moldering Cave and all that stuff. Oh, nice. That's always a nice find. Getting that bottle right off the bat. Now we just need to find the flute. And we'll be able to clear a lot more in Kakariko Village. Still waiting to also see a map check from both of our players. Or either of our players. But, you know, this early on, you're thinking, well, I'll probably just do all of Eastern Palace regardless.
Yeah, at this point, when you have the bow early. For some runners, they like to check the map immediately, myself being one of them, just to see what's where. Based on the items you find, it might steer your direction a little bit differently. Others like to go through all of these opening sequence items, check the map afterward, and for all intents and purposes, it really doesn't make that much of a difference, because most runners are going to clear all of this stuff in some sort of order anyway. Finding the flippers and 300 rupees and the blue mail in the bottom of the well. Good finds all around.
So still not quite enough for Zora after this bottle vendor.
Oof, especially after the poor return on that investment.
But you can only... You probably expect to find another 300 in, like, Mini Moldering Cave or something. And,
there's a good chance.
getting those flippers that early is definitely going to change their, or at least send them to that South Shore route. Oh, and we got the glove as well. So we'll probably see back of escape at the end of checking the maze race.
And although it would be a sequence break, heading up to Death Mountain with the hook shot and the glove is always a tempting thing.
That is true. Personally, as much as I'd want to do that, you'd want to see at least like, because you might find the hammer still as well out there,
of course,
and then that would allow you to get up to Hera. There's the silvers.
Silvers.
So we got power, silvers and a bow before our first sword. Now I wonder if we'll get red mail before we even get our first sword as well.
There's always that chance.
Yeah. And conveniently, Sick Kid dropping 3 bombs so that they don't have to go buy some more bombs on the way out of Kakariko.
Only a single arrow inside the library.
And a big 20 for the maze race. Alright, Hubliss, what's the next play? Looks like he's gonna... Well, we'll see. He might go into Hyrule, he might go south. I would assume south. Oh yeah, and there's that 50% bomb drop chance in that second rock right there.
The things you learn. I had no idea that was another one of those spots.
I actually learned that from watching Futon play, because I didn't know that was a thing.
There's a handful of them that I'm aware of. There's a map check. So blue is up at Tower of Hera, the blue pendant, and it looked like 2 crystals at Eastern and Desert.
Correct.
And they were not red, so I have to assume that they are the less important of the important crystals.
Alright, we'll be getting a route divergence, finally, with Futon checking the back of Escape, Hubliss doing the South Shore route. Let's see which one pays off.
Well, if we're talking literal payment, so far Hubliss is not paying off with only a single green rupee.
A single green soggy rupee. Hubliss is going to be hoping he finds at least another 300 or like 150 coming up in this mini Moldoran chest. Oh, there's
You were right about that.
Red mail before our first sword. So you kind of already guess what kind of seed this is going to be.
One with low health, perhaps?
Yeah, something like that. As I said, like in the last race, it's either like you find all the tunics, or you find like all the medallions before you get your first, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean
that mean absolutely nothing, and say absolutely nothing about the seed, but they're just funny to.
But it's just fun little coincidences like that happen every time, even though there is no correlation. So we got money and heart pieces in the mini Moldorm cave.
Oh, and look at this! With Hubliss is going to be 30 short unless he gets something like out of Ice Rock Cave, or Hobo, or even in like the waterfall chest. But Futon will be able to have all of his Zora money after he goes through Mini Moldorm Cave.
That's a valid point as well.
Hoping to find a few more rupees.
Bombs on the island, or it appeared to be. We saw Hubliss doing well to avoid those Zora's fireballs. Of course, getting hit would be inconvenient right now, but not a death sentence since we're not in a fake flipper state.
And depending on if Hubliss gets rupees here, which he doesn't, or if he ends up going and checking Ice Rock Cave, he could hop down into that little cave underneath the rock and grab 20 rupees there a couple times to get his 500, which would probably be the smartest choice, though a little time consuming. Now I wonder, at this point, once this is all done, depending on what we find here, because we're still looking for another glove and the Moon Pearl, or a hammer and a Moon Pearl. I wonder if we'll be seeing a full clear of Eastern coming up next. Despite the dark rooms in there can be a little tricky, especially without a sword. Our players can complete that dungeon if they choose.
That's true, so it comes down to the battle of which sequence break do you want to do, climb the mountain or go through Eastern.
And of course we also have Hyrule Castle as an option.
Yep. Yeah, there's still plenty of things to go around and check out. Of course we are looking, as Willard said, just for a certain combination of 2 items. Oh, there's 20 rupees, so now Hubliss is only 10 short.
I would assume that he'd hop down there and grab those rupees.
You know, it's not a cave that's too commonly used. It's very possible that somebody is aware of it. Checking the stun pack, though, full magic refill, that's actually not a bad thing to find.
That's pretty convenient, especially in, like, you know, places that use a lot of magic, like Skull Woods or T-Rock or, you know, stuff like that.
Upstairs,
Ice Palace, also.
Yeah. That's it. I would actually rank that in, like, a top 3 stun pack. Rupees, Fairy, and a full magic refill would be the absolute best stun packs in my opinion.
I've only got a bit of a gamble from Futon. Going to be skipping out on Ice Rock Cave for now, so this could be big.
Ooh!
There's a flute!
And a heart piece!
So, imhughbliss, not going to have enough rupees for Zora.
Could be rough. I mean,
We'll find
even
out
if
from
it's a
Futon.
useless item that Futon buys from the Zora, you don't want to have that on the back of your mind for too long.
No. I mean, fortunately, there could be a...
Okay.
Oh, look, never mind.
It would take a long way around then, but at least that'll give us some peace of mind for our runners.
I wonder if he would just skip it and come back maybe later, you know, if he gets the mirror and he could do, like, Catfish in Zora. But here's the thing, with that flute in hand, now suddenly Death Mountain isn't a sequence break anymore.
That's true. And as much as I'm not personally a huge fan of sequence breaking, going up to Death Mountain early is a case that I could make because you're not going to be without the lamp or the flute for terribly long, so it's not a massive sequence break like flippers can be, where you may not find those until way late in the game.
And who knows, that lamp could easily be in East Death Mountain. We've seen it there before, so...
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, that 500 rupees only went to buying a small little heart piece, so imhughbliss going to be spending a little extra time getting that 300 and checking Zora for his lovely prize.
Yeah, definitely can't fault him for making the play, though. You're in the area, you do want that peace of mind. We're only 11 minutes in, it's not going to be a considerable loss. May not even play a factor in this as we go down further.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if players skip locations, it only really pays off if they never go and check them later. So if Futon ends up getting stuck and goes and checks the Ice Rock Cave later, then that kind of reverses his advantage that he had from skipping it. And now, especially with Flute, he'll be able to go back and check it later more conveniently, so...
Yeah, absolutely.
So at this point, we have Death Mountain, Sahasrahla Eastern, Hyrule Castle. It looks like Futon's opting to go straight up to Death Mountain, and gonna go saving that old man in the dark, which is a little... It's a little bit more difficult when you just have a hookshot. Especially because of the amount of stall that it takes for the hookshot to spring out and come back, as opposed to like tossing a boomerang or whatnot.
Yeah, and there's no sword to hold out, so you don't get that little twinkle to have serve as an indicator of where you are. Even the blue boomerang serves for a pretty good indication of your location. Hookshot can be a little bit tricky to work with on it, but looks like he's making his way through pretty well. I mean, I can only assume based on the little dinks that I'm seeing. But I think he's on his way back with the old man right now. He's just about to go down. Yep, there he goes. Almost making his way up.
Alright, another divergence. You know, I am of the thought, the opinion, the idea of always checking Sahasrahla before going to Death Mountain. Because every time I don't do it, he's got, like, the hammer, or, you know, the mirror, or just something to make Death Mountain more efficient, or allowing me to get to more locations, so...
But what happens when you do go and check it? There's probably nothing there most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you commit to this much, you're like, I should just go ahead and go to Eastern.
Well, yeah, that's not a bad idea, because it's a crystal too. We do find a sword. So, I mean, there's always that benefit.
Okay, now, let's see if we find, like, a hammer or a mirror up here. Well, I guess if you find a hammer, then you still have a weapon to do Moldorm, but, if they find a mirror, then they'll be... At least, imhughbliss will be able to go and do most of Hera. But Hera is a pendant! We don't have a fire source, so we can't go to the basement, so... Who knows?
All we can do is see what happens. I'm very curious about this. I would have suspected both runners to head up to Death Mountain and check out the eastern areas of it.
Mm-hmm. that flute kind of tells a bit of a story. And, you know, generally you want to just keep following the next progression item that you get. But, you know, who knows? Maybe Fouton will find his pearl and find his mitts or hammer, and then he'll head into the Dark World. But then there ends up being something important like a sword or some other progression item, like a mirror in Eastern that would help routing, and he ends up putting that off for a while. Fouton's gonna need to find some bombs if he wants to do that little bomb jump. Find plenty of health to go with his red mail.
No question about that.
Plenty of arrows.
No, nothing terribly useful though. He's not gonna go up and around and do Spiral Cave, I guess. Hopefully that wasn't just a hasty save and quit. We've seen that location have useful items that people have missed for one reason or another. Don't want that to be the case either, but Fouton's gonna head over to the Sahasrahla Eastern area now as well. Grab a sword and a completable crystal dungeon.
It's an interesting choice, but we saw him skip Ice Rock Cave, so I'm sure he's thinking, I want to skip some of these slower options right now.
I can understand that. Then he changes his mind, I guess.
He's gonna go buy some bombs, so he can actually get a sword.
So he can get into Sahasrahla. That makes sense. You know, you just mentioned that too.
You know, what he could have done was used... Oh wow, there's the shovel.
That's a great item.
He had one bomb going into Paradox Cave. He could have... There is a shop at the bottom of Paradox Cave that he could have gone to buy more bombs. Mm-hmm. And if you fall down and push that block, it'll stay pushed when you go into the shop and come back. So he wouldn't have to go all the way around. Because he's in the same, like, quadrant, it doesn't reset when he goes into the shop and comes back, so...
Yeah, that would have definitely been an option.
And this sword, you know, will make... imhughbliss will make the journey to save the old man up on deathFouton a little bit easier. Now, I am sad to see both players not elect to talk to our boy Sahasrahla, that useful information. You know, when you have knowledge of where the other pendant dungeons are, you can kind of start routing way ahead in the future a little bit. Or you can start dreading how you have to play the game later. Oh, cool, great. A green pendant.
However you want to look at it.
Or a green pendant T-Rock.
Two sides of the same coin no matter which way you flip it.
Yeah.
So let's see how imhughbliss handles this dark room. Again, this is going to be a good spot to have the sword. Find that little twinkle. And shoots one arrow, second arrow. Third arrow is trying to find that Igor. Seems like he's killing a bit of the Popos, but hasn't quite found the Igor yet. Where is it? There he is. Move up a little bit, he'll wake up, walk down, and then you just take him out, grab that key.
Oh, he's a lot further to the left than I thought. Because I was like, nah, he's gonna hit the one on the left. And then we saw both of them. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're kind of in like the just off of center positions of the room. But nicely done. That's a difficult room to line up and find your bearings. Especially with the random Popo RNG, they can just come at you from all angles and totally disorient you. So just 2 quicksilver arrows on these red Igors. A lot of money along the way, too.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's see what Armos holds for us. I believe he has the last item, so this could be big. This could be our 50 rupees that we were looking for.
That we were looking for? We were looking for those a little bit ago, before Zora. We don't need them right now.
Alright, well, at least we got a shovel out of this. A shovel and a crystal, so, you know, maybe the shovel will lead to something, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to dig at least one item up.
So, at this point, depending on what shovel gives us, we still have Hyrule Castle and Spiral Cave that we haven't seen yet. And Agnes Cave. Can't forget that one. Oh, look at these lovely golden boys. Goodbye. Is that gold? I'd say it was more like a bronze.
Kind of in between the two. I would lean more toward gold if I had to pick one color.
Like a dirty blonde, kind of.
Sure. That works. Wow, there's the hammer. So there's our Dark World access. Once imhughbliss finds the moon pearl, that is. But we know where it is.
And now, as I said earlier, he'll be able to go up to do Tower of Hera if he wants to. But I wonder, it is a pendant, but so many times we've seen players find, hookshot, hammer, etc., and then mirror ends up being in like Tower of Hera or something.
Or Titan's Mitts could be in the basement with a required medallion upstairs or something like that, right? But I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that'd be something.
It would be a shame.
I can imagine seeing that.
But yeah, so it really is just like you said, huh? Hammer. We found Moon Pearl, and that's going to allow Tower of Hera access. So even without a fire source, the dungeon will be completable, which is a good thing. Well, the exception to that would be, I guess, if the big key is in the basement. But at least we'll have an answer.
So it's something worth considering, the fact that the shovel was in the big chest and they had access to it before having to do any dark rooms. So, the logic wanted you to get that shovel, go into the Dark World, we'll find the lamp somewhere conveniently in there, I would assume so, and then go back and kill Hermos later.
But that's just inconvenient and silly.
That's dumb. Both players making it through that inconvenient dark room pretty quickly. Not bad at all.
The most inconvenient thing about that is that even with the red mail, those Igors are going to do a full-hearted damage walking into you. And the good thing... No, not the good thing about that, but if you do run low on health in that room, you can walk back out and drop down one of those giant pots, and there's a couple of fairies there that'll help you out.
And do they reset every time you leave, or every time you go back down?
I believe they do.
Futon going to be picking up his 50 rupees and a crystal, while imhughbliss picking up his moon pearl. Now, for anyone wondering, the red mail that Futon is holding was found in the back of Escape. I don't know when we'll see that, since now imhughbliss has Dark World access, if he's going to put off any of Hyrule Castle. Same with Futon, he hasn't touched Hyrule Castle as well, either. Futon's saving and quitting despite the fact that he does have the flute. I guess it takes about the same amount of time? I don't know. What do you think?
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a quick moment.
It's okay.
So it seems Futon is making the Hyrule Castle play at this point.
Yeah. He's going to be missing out on that hammer for a little bit. But imagine if he finds like a sword upgrade down here.
Well, a sword upgrade alone wouldn't be the end of the world. What would concern me is finding a sword upgrade and the lantern down here. Might send him to Aga early. And unnecessarily.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. We'll see what we find. I'm expecting a whole bunch of junk, but,
I mean, just because it's usually what it is.
So we got our small key. Now, I don't think we've seen the dungeon map yet. So we don't know... So that sewer chest could still be an item at this point. At this point, yeah.
We'll figure that out in just a moment, though. And collectively... actually, was it Futon that went into the back before? That's where he got his red mail. It was in the back of Escape. Alright, moment of truth. Is Tower of Hera blocked by a fire source? It is not. We shall ascend. Only one item left. If Futon finds an item here, then we can clarify that the sewer chest is going to be the dungeon map, and then he won't have to go back and check that later. But yeah, so far this has not been worth it. Nice having silver arrows, though, for ball and chain.
Oh, definitely.
There's the map. Okay, so...
Oh, no.
There is an item in the sewers. We don't have a fire source, or the lantern specifically. So that is not something that's in sequence at the moment.
It looks like Futon's gonna be going and checking that shovel spot. Oh, come on, Futon. Alright, here we are. He's gonna go check that ice rock cave that we were talking about earlier, so that advantage he had for skipping it is now suddenly gone. And on imhughbliss' side, if Molorun's not holding an item, we know that that basement's gonna be holding something, so our players would have to go back and check that again later. Or not at all. Depends.
Real curious to know what Futon's going to do after this. Obviously a flute to somewhere. We have Agana's cave left, and the shovel spot for him to check.
Well, here's what I'm worried about. On his personal tracker, he still does not have shovel labeled. So he might forget that he has it.
It's always that possibility.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that, you know, he has the flute, so the shovel's hidden behind it already.
True, it's not necessarily showing up on the menu as obviously as it could. Although it'd be funny, too, if we were about to find the Titan's mitts and then he goes even further away from the hammer.
Mm-hmm, right. Moldorun giving imhughbliss a little bit of a challenge there.
Moldorun did not want to go down, and I can't say I blame him. But
only a hard day.
Wow.
Who called it? Come on, let's go. Alright. Well, that's convenient.
That's exceedingly convenient.
Fortunately for Futon, it looks like he's going to be going all the way up here just to check that spiral cave. And so imhughbliss will be doing the same. But yeah, that mirror is going to make for some convenient routing options going into the Dark World.
No, without
being able to clear a lot of these stuff all in one go, as opposed to going back later and doing them separately. So, but yeah, that shovel spot, it's going to be haunting Futon for a little bit. Going to put him behind.
I mean, when you have a handful of one-off single locations to check, sometimes your judgment can get a little bit clouded on which one is actually best to go to. You're kind of fighting amongst yourself to determine that.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy to
kind of pick one and go.
Yeah, you kind of go into like autopilot a little bit.
Yep, you know that they're going to be checked anyway. They're all a little bit time consuming.
And just a capacity upgrade. But yeah, also unfortunately, I wonder, you know, Futon, this is it. After this, Futon's got nothing that he can do that's in sequence, so he's got to remember that he has that shovel, and then at that point, you know, he might put off getting that mirror for a while.
That's true, because he's already been up here twice. He's not going to want to come back a third time for such a long walk around just for a pendant dungeon.
Alright, this is good for Futon. imhughbliss looks like he is going to go for the Hyrule check as well, so...
Interesting.
Assuming he remembers the shovel, he's not going to be too far behind. And
so he does know he has the shovel. I thought he was going to pull the flute out again and just go somewhere else.
Okay, whew! Dodged a bullet there. That's a little scary. Yeah, it is very convenient that neither player did find the lamp, so Agate Tower was never an option. Never even a consideration.
Even with that, they're a minimum of 2 items short to go through there anyway, between not having a sword upgrade or the cape.
That is also true.
Where's Futon going to go first, now that he's dug up his hammer? Back to Link's house, we'll start from the swamp area.
So yeah, he's gonna be missing that mirror, so... And we'll find out immediately if it's required or not. We are still looking for 2 more pendant dungeons, so if Swamp Palace ends up being one of the pendants, you know, that mirror could potentially not even be necessary.
Also true.
Map Futon. Do it! He's not doing it.
Maybe if you yell a little bit louder.
He's doing it!
Oh, there he goes.
Ooh.
So 6 is at Thieves, green is at Mire, 5 is at Turtle Rock, and red is at Pod. So that mirror is going to be a necessity.
Alright.
You know that.
So he's got to make his way back up to Hera. Now, let's say if he finds like the Titan mitts here or soonish, that will probably actually send him back up there sooner. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Although the problem with that is that it might send him up there only for the Dark World expeditions, and then without the mirror, he can't get back readily. And then that's another issue, I guess, when we get there.
Yeah. Alright, Hype Cave was a whole lot of nothing, as is tradition. And, you know, it's one of those, you have the bow, you have the hammer, but then pod turns out to be a pendant. You're like, come on, man. This doesn't help me out at all. But yeah, with Meyer and T-Rock, or Meyer was a pendant. Meyer was green.
Yep, Meyer was the green pendant.
So we still need both rods. We do need Canis and Maria. We will need at least one medallion, maybe two, depending on if Meyer is required, or if both of those dungeons use different medallions. Still need another sword and Titan mitts. We don't know about boot yet, so yeah, guys, we still got a lot. We got a lot of rando left still.
It's true. Most of the world is open to us, but our arsenal's a little bit low at this point. We don't really have much to outright complete any dungeons. Thieves' Town is the only one that, by sequence, can be beaten at this point, that neither of our runners have done.
Ooh, that sucks. You know, through all that trouble checking the sewer chest just to get our red rupee.
You know, better to have that knowledge, though, I say. There's a sword upgrade, though. Not all we need is a lamp, and we can still go do Aga 1. Right? That sounds fun.
I mean, that's the most convenient way to check the pyramid, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the closest based on, like, spawning points.
Now, here's the thing. Unless, like, Hugh finds another sword in Village of Outcasts, you know, it might be a while before he ends up getting that Master Sword, because Pod, at this point in the race, is... It's an interesting choice, nonetheless, when you have a bunch of overworld stuff, or you have all of Thieves' Town to complete and it's a crystal. But Futon's probably feeling a little bit behind after missing that hammer for a while, so he's thinking, you know, let's dive into these pendant dungeons a little bit more.
Just go for the big plays. Even without the lamp, there's a lot of this dungeon that can be checked. Unfortunately, most of what can be checked is going to be small keys.
Mm-hmm.
But still, there's a total of 5 items within the dungeon.
Hughbliss going for early Skull Woods play. Alright. Seeing some interesting options from both of our players. Of course, Hughbliss will not be able to complete all this because he does not have the Fire Rod. But that early Skull Woods play is never a bad one. Shield? Anyone? Dinner plate? Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, that's precisely what it is. I don't know what it's doing in a place like that, though. That does not look like an appetizing restaurant. And there's the book! So that's both items out of Skull Woods right away.
Good play, actually. That's a pretty good play. Now, here's the thing, though. We still... Hughbliss is going to need that sword from Pod if he wants to go check those tablets. But Bombos could be very valuable at this point, the Bombos tablet, just based on, you know, the items required to get it and where they were located.
Not to mention that Desert is also open at this point, although it could be bootlocked, and we know for sure that we will need Fire to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just another play that they could make at some point. I mean, based on Hughbliss's location at the moment, though, there's a lot of Dark World to check. It makes a lot more sense to stick with that.
Yeah, of course.
But once those options deplete themselves, it's another thing to keep in the back of your mind.
And convenient for him, if he finds Titan mitts at some point, he can just mirror into Check Desert instead of using the book. Only downside would be is if, like, the Titan mitts were in Desert or something.
Yeah.
That would be cruel.
A little bit. That's definitely one of the more fun oddities when you're forced to go into a dungeon a certain way because the only other way into it is blocked. we'll see what's on the graveyard ledge, too, while Futon heads over into the northeast corners of Palace of Darkness. And there's the big key.
Now, for Futon, I wonder, without the mirror, you know, he won't be able to mirror out of the dungeon. So I wonder if we'll see, like, a death warp from him if he goes into the dark maze and whatnot. Not sure what he just picked up.
Nope, not a clue. That's a small key, though.
Key.
I know that one.
Doesn't look like he picked up...
Nothing in the
way. Oh, he picked up a shield. He picked up a shield. There was a shield on the right side.
Okay.
Wow.
That's exactly what that was.
We found 2 shields.
So he's just gonna head through this way, and then I wonder, I suspect then he's gonna have to walk all the way through. Unless he's gonna set up a death warp, which with red mail can take quite a bit of time, especially with 9.5 hearts remaining.
Not only that, but he also has a fairy in a bottle, which he could easily forget, which would be hilarious.
We've all done that.
I would have a hearty laugh if he was to fall for that.
I remember once trying to death warp out of the Spike Cave on Death Mountain, and totally forgetting that I had a fairy in a bottle.
Nice.
That just totally negated what I was trying to do.
Now here's the thing. We only have 2 more chests left to check, and if the next item he gets is an item, I believe both the dungeon items are going to be in the big chest and on Helma. So he might just save and quit out and not even worry about it.
That would be an interesting point.
10 arrows in the bombable hut for Hugh.
We just picked something up, but we didn't see that again, though. There's the boots!
Oh, wow.
Sequence broken.
Wow! That is huge! Alright guys, pod, pendant, crystal, doesn't matter. It's got value.
So he'll make a play right on Bonk Rocks. Unfortunately, without the mirror, it is impossible for him to get to the King's Tomb at the moment.
But, you know, here's the thing. He might get the mirror, he might get the mirror later, but what if, like, Swamp has, like, very little value? And then mirror ends up being his go mode item. You know, stuff... It all depends on how you route the game.
It really does.
It can change, you know, how much time you spend in, you know, your options. So, and so far, the mirror hasn't been... We haven't found anything with the mirror yet. That's what I'm trying to say, so...
Alright, so as far as we know, its only known use at this point would be to enter Swamp Palace. I had to double think that. It can't quite go up, not without the Titans, and it's gotta go up and around.
We're not there yet. But yeah, we had a shield, a Master Sword, and the boots, all in Pendant Pod.
And you know, finding the book is actually going to strengthen the thought of Desert Palace.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Oh, wow.
Big red
Samaria!
chain.
There it is!
Right where it always is, right? In a chest
Right,
somewhere unknown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually. Normally an Ice Palace, but we'll take this.
I mean, maybe Ice Palace went through a defrost cycle and is full of thieves now, I don't know.
And it also just up and moved into the village. It can do that.
Plate tectonics, my friend.
Plate. Global warming. So we are still looking for medallions, we're still looking for rods, and a Titan Mitts. Futon now picking up his book. But yeah, with that in mind, you know, boots and book. The only thing is he still doesn't have a fire source, so he wouldn't be able to complete Desert quite yet.
You know, I could still make a strong case for it, though, being that Landmola is the only inaccessible portion of the dungeon at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, same that imhughbliss is going through right now, there's a lot of other Dark World options for Futon to check first.
We make... Oh, there it is! There's another sword! Wow.
Huh.
That's crazy. You know, I figured there had to be at least one more somewhere over here, right? You know, normally you find, like, the sword upgrades in Swamp, but... you know...
Well, it's comforting to know that there's at least 3 of them available by the 40-minute mark of the game.
And especially with it being in the first chest in pod, you know, it's not going to get skipped unless you just skip pod outright. But at this point, well, at the same time, we don't know if boots are required. So
No, we don't. That is true.
They had just those minor routing options, and suddenly Futon has better movement, and he'll have a better sword. And just, you know, the difference between Master Sword and Tempered Sword is pretty big. Pretty big.
Definitely the biggest difference between any of your strength upgrades, I would say.
Will we be getting a high five from our players in the same dungeon? Looks like it. What? Looks like it.
Futon just teasing us a little bit there.
Classic Futon.
Let's see, Hubliss entering blind. 10 hearts, red mail. Haven't seen the eye doctor in years, and again, each one of blind's phases takes 3 hits, regardless of what strength sword you have. Of course. Actually, I don't know this. But making quick work through phase 2 already, just another 3 hits.
I'm disappointed. I wanted to see some Kana Samari strats, but you know, it's fine, whatever. Our players are playing to win, not to entertain me, so...
No, but that's actually a pretty useful strategy. Because you can just let the block sit there, and the block itself can get hit, I think, 3 times or so before it disappears, and blind will just kind of naturally go into it.
Yeah, as long as blind doesn't, like, stop on top of it, because then it'll, like, cause it to despawn quicker. But, yeah, it's a pretty effective tool. And I think it was the last race that I commentated, you know, swords... One of our players didn't get a sword until over an hour in. So we got to see the wackier blind fight using the Kana Samaria. But yeah, so without the Titan mids, Hubliss will be able to go ahead and route all the way down to Hype Cave this way, being able to check Circle of Bushes. So if that ends up having something important, then you know that early mirror is going to play out for him. At this point, he's thinking, "Come on, mirror, do something for me. Do work." He pokes it with a stick.
And that would be one of the last mirror locations that are actually in play, because we know that the Hylia Island doesn't have anything. The only thing that would leave is, I believe, the Bondo's medallion, tablet. That thing.
Which looks like he'll be able to route to that as well. And who knows what his next option is going to be. Oh man, if Futon follows the same... Oh, there they are!
It is.
Mirror lock!
So then...
That's huge!
The mirror is required from a pendant boss. Futon is going to need to get back up there at some point, although I rather suspect that his options are going to be limited after the completion of Thieves' Town.
Yeah,
hopefully the Tower of Hera is accessible.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's think about it for a second. The only options he has left after this is to go to Desert, to go to Hera, and to go to Catfish.
Never check Stumpy either.
I would assume Hubliss now is going to set up the walk with the purple chest all the way down to Gary.
It makes the most sense based off of location and what he's got.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good idea to go ahead and just knock all this stuff out. But at the same time, because, like, you know, we have the Titan Mids, which opens up all of East Death Mountain, or, you know, all the Dark World Death Mountain stuff. It opens up the Mire area, and he gets a quicker option to check Desert. Ice Palace, fake Thieves' Town, is open, but without a fire source, he cannot get further than the first room.
Fake Thieves' Town, I love it.
Alright, so far, 2 Pendant Dungeons. Definitely worth it. Now, something else to consider. Depending on if we find a medallion... Oh, wow. Hold on. Ice Rod. So that's what they were brewing up. Alright. It's a required item.
It's kind of funny that they're forging something and using heat to make an Ice Rod.
Well, Something's got to power it.
You know what? Yeah. Just like any refrigeration, you have to take the heat out of something to make it work. So, sure, let's just go with science.
What, just because we're in the land of Hyrule, everything's got to be magic? No, it's realistic. It's battery powered. Batteries forged in the fires of the
battery powered ice rod.
And there's probably our medallion to get into Meyer, or that is our medallion to get through Ice Palace. So that's wow. Suddenly everything's opening up all of a sudden, all at once.
Because the entirety of Ice Palace is open at this point. We have the hammer, we can go through the entire dungeon, hookshot and all, in case of needing to use that. We can check both medallions between Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. Mire being a pendant, of course, still, but not completely ruled out.
Yeah, even that Bombos is not going to really... it might... Actually, no, it doesn't really give Futon much to work with at the moment, so he's got to make that choice to go up to Hera at this point. And it looks like that's what he's going to be doing.
It does seem like
so, he's going to be a little behind after this, but... And depending on what he does next with that mirror... Oh, wow. Ether and Bombos. Okay. Thanks,
I'm
game.
gonna just outright call that the chocolate location, then.
Some people prefer chocolate over vanilla. Chocolate, strawberry, Neapolitan. We got all the flavors.
We do. And they all have meanings. So, once Futon finds the mirror, though, it realistically doesn't open up an overwhelming number of locations for him to check. So, the thought on my mind is, when's he going to use that mirror to find the Titan's myths? And the reality is that between the Circle of Bushes, the Bombos tablet, I almost said that again, and the Graveyard Ledge, that's about all that he's got to work with on it.
Well, the nice thing is, with the mirror in hand and the boots, he will be able to go check, like, Graveyard Ledge to King's Tomb. Mm-hmm. So it's not just a single item location, like, way out of the way. He'll at least be able to do two at once. He also has the book now, so he'll be able to check either tablet, which imhughbliss was not able to do the initial time he was there. But yeah, at the same time, we might see a Swamp Palace from Futon, but who knows, he could potentially check Circle Bushes before popping in there. A lot of unknowns at this point.
You know what? I'm actually a little surprised that we're not seeing a Swamp Palace from imhughbliss. Being right in the
meats completed. Yeah. But it's one of those dungeons that you want to go mode.
Right, absolutely, and everyone's got their strategy and preferences for it. It's long and annoying.
Mm-hmm. At this point, we're what? Based on the logic, we're a lamp, because we still need at least one fire source, potentially. Well, we do need a fire red regardless, but
we saw that Misery Mire was the Bombos medallion, so we have entry to it anyway. But still, without a fire source, there's limited options on what can be done there. It may not be beatable.
Do you make that play, though?
I don't, personally. Because right there, you still have Checkerboard, you have all of Desert to go through quickly anyway. Mire's a big time-consuming dungeon when there's at least 3 chests that you're not going to be able to get to, including Vitreous, I guess, is one of those, by sequence.
Yeah, unfortunately, over on Futon's side, he got a little too close to the edge when trying to hookshot across to the big chest, and fell down the middle hole, which of course drops you all the way to the ground floor.
There's the cape. At this point we know that's not required. imhughbliss is not even going to touch it, but he doesn't have the boots yet, so never mind, he can't.
So boots, potentially not required, because there was nothing at Bumper Cave that we know of. And unless this is like our option to get through like Laser Bridge or something, this is big. Who knows? imhughbliss might not even ever get the boots at this point.
There's the big key, so yeah. Desert Palace is only going to be the normal fire block. We do not need the boots to complete it. And there's 300 rupees. That's the other item. We are not going to complete it right now.
Yeah, and do you make the play into Mire when you don't have either fire source?
I have to say no, personally. I mean, I've never seen anyone do it. That doesn't mean nobody does. I mean, if you want to talk about a gamble, that would be a gamble.
Yeah.
I know you like your gambles.
Oh, there it is!
Sword,
sword number 4. I was just, I was just thinking, like, if he doesn't go to Pod, he's going to have to do Master Sword for the rest of the game. But there it is. There's our other sword. Wow. All 4 swords out in the open. A lot of times we'll see seeds where we only see, like, 2 swords, or 3 swords, and then we never see the other one. But yeah, this could easily... At this point, Hugh could just go ahead and do everything without ever touching Pod. Oftentimes, like, you only have to ever do, like, just 1 pendant dungeon, 2 pendant dungeons, sometimes 0 pendant dungeons. And a B-Torp for Futon. Alright, Futon, here's your big moment. You just got the mirror. What are you gonna do? A little bit of a high five from our players right here. I wonder if he was going to be heading into Swamp Palace at this point. I wonder if both players are going to head into Swamp Palace at this point. Looks like that's what we're going to see. Oh, just kidding. Futon's going to be going over to the Bombos Tablet where he's going to get his Ether Medallion.
But it would make sense to head back to Swamp afterward.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of amusing that after all of that, we're going to wind up with this kind of a sync.
So wait, Bombos was at the Stump Kid, right?
Yes.
Did Futon never check that?
Futon never did that, no. When Futon first entered the Dark World, he did it from the swamp area portal, and did Hype Cave, and then went straight over to Pyramid and Pod. Or maybe just Pod. Did he even do Pyramid?
Nah, he didn't do Pyramid.
Futon!
But then he did Digging Game. After he did Thieves Town, so...
Oh, no, okay. No, he did do that afterward. That's right. His save and quit was after checking the Stump Kid.
Okay, it was just our lovely tracker was a little behind. Thanks! No, I'm just kidding.
He doesn't mean that. You're doing fine.
I figured he did, because that would have been silly to skip that.
Well, it would have been. You know what? Let's just pretend that he did skip it, and Futon, that was silly.
Futon,
but then he got it, and that wasn't silly anymore.
So yeah, now, we're looking for still a few more items in Swamp Palace. We have all of it that we can do at this point. For Futon's sake, though, he's going to be hoping that there's nothing in here. Because, imhughbliss, he doesn't need the boots. He's got the swords he needs. So all he needs is the fire rod at this point. And whichever medallion is required for T-Rock. So if we find a fire rod in here, imhughbliss could be leaving this dungeon in go mode.
There's a good chance of already having the medallions that we need, unless Turtle Rock is vanilla, which nobody checked. So.
It also depends on these players' comfort level doing the other dark rooms. We might still need that lamp.
Yeah, I can't speak to either one of them about it. Speak for them, I should say.
Yeah, that is the thing.
We don't know if those boots are required for the big key in Ganon's Tower. We'll find that out later on. But at this point, it's just a matter of finding that fire rod to have that knowledge.
Futon's had those boots for a long time. And, so despite the fact that, missing that mirror, he's going to be able to catch up quite a bit over time, just, saving seconds in every single screen. It makes a pretty big difference.
With how early he found them, yeah, it's got a lot of time to add up.
And I'm still wondering. They have. Well, I guess it depends on if they had the lamp already. You know, it could have been like a Sahasrara fire rod situation, maybe. But at the same time, when you have crystal dungeons, it's better to spend time doing that than going in and doing another pendant dungeon.
No, but for all intents and purposes, you're not wrong. It absolutely could play out that way.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're almost an hour in, so these, you know, early gambles are generally pretty safe when you're still looking for a lot of stuff. But an hour in, you're starting to think, okay, I can't really afford to make these crazy gambles like going into a pendant dungeon or, you know, pendant mire, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So players will opt to just do crystals because, you know, it makes sense. Because if you can find it while you're doing your crystal dungeons, you save so much time.
Even if it's a long crystal dungeon such as Swamp in this case, but
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely the preference. Just get to the crystal dungeons that you can complete. Although, now that we're not completely out of locations, but there is another spot that the fire rod could be.
Catfish?
Well, I mean, technically, yes.
Pyramid?
Technically, yes.
Pedestal?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, that was the one I was talking about. Yay! Good job.
Thanks. Yeah, we haven't seen a pedestal check from either player. It's not really convenient at this point.
No, it's not.
Oh, the only way it'd be convenient is if they already had their fire rod.
At that point, they wouldn't need to check it, but yeah.
Right. Unless T-Rock is vanilla, as in requires Quake. And Quake
also
is
true.
in that pedestal. We still don't know about that dungeon yet.
There's the lamp, so there's our fire source. That's... Oh, I would say the most important one, but we'd need the fire rod to actually beat bosses.
Okay, now Hugh can go get his boots.
Yeah, I suspect that a lamp will lead him at this point up to the Palace of Darkness area. There's the fire rod, oh my, so then.
Double fire source in Swamp Palace.
I suspect that will lead him away from Pod, never mind.
Wow.
Now, at this point, after you're done with Swamp Palace, would you go right up to Turtle Rock and check what that medallion is? Or would you go through Ice Palace and risk completing it, full clearing it, or even just go moding it on a whim?
You know, when you have 2 out of the 3 medallions, I think it'd be safe to just go ahead and... I don't know. I think I'd go up to T-Rock. I'd just rather have that information.
Yeah.
But then again, I would have gone up to Death Mountain right after getting the Titan Bits.
True.
So I would have had that information before going into Go mode. Which, you know, of course, would have wasted time checking like Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave and all that. Oh, look at this! Look at this lovely tech from Futon we've seen here. He's using the fancy little glitch that you can only really do with the boots to the little pups quicker.
It's a great strategy. It's very difficult to execute. And it looks amazing when it's done. So yeah, I think the play to Turtle Rock is better at this point. Get the knowledge. You could be in Go mode right this moment. I would much rather know if I'm in Go mode than risk going through another crystal dungeon.
So, for Futon, fortunately, with Titan Mitts not... You know, the thing is, though, he might find the Titan Mitts sooner than later. He'll probably go check... I hope he goes and checks Circle Bushes next. Because we want to keep this race as close as possible. Oh, is he... Oh, the big chest has something.
Yep.
So he's going to go back in and check that. But he might find those Titan Mitts and, like, opt to go do something else, looking for the Ice Rod, so...
Oh, that's true, because that's such an obscure item. That could be in so many places.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a matter of being able to check something. You know you need it. You're not in Go mode yet without it.
Oh, it looks like he went into the beginning of Desert forgetting that he already had the big key. So
that happens.
And
you can see a little bit of a sword swing frustration after using the mirror.
And just a bomb capacity upgrade for Futon. Alright, Futon. Don't do it.
He's doing it.
No, don't. Go back in the dark world.
Oh well.
He's going into desert.
Can't say that I fault him, honestly.
Well, fortunately, he will be able to clear this, so...
It's a quick, completable crystal dungeon.
Mm-hmm. And he will end up getting the cape out of this, which, you know, he's not going to need, for the most part. Unless...
You think he picks it up, though?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing, because, like, let's say Big Key in T-Rock is vanilla, and forces our players to do Laser Bridge. Laser Bridge is kind of hard when you don't have Mirror Shield, you don't have boots, and you don't have a safety.
True. And 1, 2, and 3 Landmal was down with 3 silver arrows. Beautifully done. This is the compass to Desert Palace. Futon's gonna pick up his big key, head north. I believe there were 300 rupees in this next chest. Here's to see where imhughbliss is going. Almost pulled out the Bombos medallion. Can't play that and fly away anymore, so you gotta go back to the flute.
It looks like Hugh is just gonna go all in. He's just saying, I'm gonna go ahead and go mode all these dungeons and just hope that I have the correct medallion for T-Rock.
Time will tell exactly what's going to happen, because he's already been through the front half of... Well, he already knows that he's gotten both items out of Skull Wood, so all that's left there is Mothula, regardless of anything. So time will tell then, once he gets to Ice Palace, does he stick around that? Does he full clear it, looking for Quake on a whim? Or just go straight to Cold Stare?
I honestly, I don't think it's a bad gamble.
No, I would agree with that.
Worst case scenario is that it is Quake, and Quake ends up being in
Hookshot
like
Cave.
Hookshot Cave or King's Tomb or the other part of Ice Palace, you know,
That's
something
the
like
best
that.
location.
The other part?
Yeah, that one. The other part. Yeah, the dubstep part.
The dubstep part. Oh yeah, so Futon picking up that cape, so, you know, if a small key ends up being on the laser bridge, it's going to be a bit of an issue for Hugh. Futon now having both the cape and the boots will make it a lot safer of a... You'll be able to do a little bit quicker. So, yeah, Futon is very behind without those Titan mitts, but at the same time, he's still he's not losing as much time because he does have the boots. And who knows? We could get that big key on the torch. Which, you know, let's say Hugh makes it all the way to G-Tower, finds it there. What do you do? What do you do? Like, what, as a player, what would your choices be next? Especially after go-moding so many dungeons.
I mean,
well,
when you're there, you just gotta stick with it. Go through the rest of Ganon's Tower that you're able to.
Yeah. I mean, he's, as far as I know, or as far as it looks like, he's only going to be able to go mode Ice Palace. Because he's already gotten both items out of here. He's already seen both items at Desert. Swamp is full cleared except for the big chest. And, yeah, we'll see what kind of T-Rock we have for our players after Hugh finishes Ice Palace. Got some crystal sinkage.
Some kitchen sinkage?
Crystal sinkage? Kitchen sinkage? It's pretty good. Ooh, wait. Go check the pedestal just for fun. Do it! Do it! Do it! For fun! No fun allowed.
You know, when you're right there, that honestly wouldn't have been the worst check. Quake is still an option.
It is, I gotta say, it is an interesting... Unless this is Futon's play in to go check Circle of Bushes or whatnot, but it looks like he's gonna go do this, go to Skullwoods, complete it. But, I don't know, it seems interesting to focus on finishing dungeons that don't have any more items, as opposed to, like, looking for Titan mitts, like in the overworld or something, or going to dungeons that have items. But at the same time, he doesn't have options. He needs those Titan mitts in order to go to those dungeons that have items.
Mm-hmm. And he's got to know that there's still a couple of places left to go and check, and it's possible that going and just clearing a boss right now might give him that little bit of extra time to really calculate all of his thoughts and think about what's really left and what the
That's
best
the point.
Bullet. Because at this point, doing Skull Woods, he could very easily go back through the Dark Forest and to the double whammy of King's Tomb and the Graveyard Ledge, and just knock those out at once.
Yeah.
Kind of in the area.
Yeah,
having two items there makes it more useful.
Actually, no. I wonder if we'll see a pet check from him, though. At this point, I could see it, since he's still looking for stuff.
I mean, yeah, as far as he's concerned, Ice Rod or the Medallion could be there.
Yeah, we know Titan Mitts can't be there because of Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
Futon clearing the room of most of the Gibdos with the silver arrows, just to make this room a little bit easier for him. Those Gibdos can kind of very easily get in the way. Let's see this bomb jump from imhughbliss. Perfect.
He sets it up and nails it.
That was quick. So, honestly, from this point of view, unless Futon's next move is to get those, like, to go check where those Titan Mitts are, because the thing is, he doesn't have any other options, right? Like, he has Pyramid Catfish, Circle of Bushes, or...
And the graveyard stuff.
Yeah. He can't go into the dungeons, he's cleared everything else. So depending on which ones he chooses... I'm kind of disappointed I didn't see him check Circle of Bushes right after Swamp, since it was right there. Like, it's just a screen over. 2 screens. Three, up 1, up to the left, yeah.
Yeah, that. Had to run that through my mind as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we are going to see a pedestal check!
What do you think it'll be?
3 bombs.
Yeah, apparently. that was boring.
Yeah, come on, man. Give us something exciting. Well, at least the exciting part was we got to see a pet check. Regardless of what was on it, we got to see one. But yeah, at this point, if
Ooh, imhughbliss missing the spin right away to keep all the puffballs together. Gonna make a slight annoyance for him.
Yeah, fortunately he does have a lot of safeties. He's got a fairy in a bottle. He's got a tempered sword. He's got red man.
Yeah, I mean he's fine, but
he's just losing time mostly.
Just makes that fight far less than ideal.
Yeah, we only saw 1 item in this dungeon, so everything else is going to be on the right side or the 2 jelly room. And Futon's going to go check for the graveyard into King's Tomb. And then I could honestly see him go all the way over and check Catfish afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe down.
Which the funny thing is, from here, Catfish is further away than Circle of Bushes was from Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
You can grill him about that later on.
Alright, but at this point, the only way Futon can really come back from this is if T-Rock is Quake required. At this point, I can't really imagine that being the case. Very low probability. Just based on how the seed's been playing out.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily see it being like Ether as well.
Between that and it being a Torch Big Key.
Mm-hmm, and G-Tower.
We'll see. We got a little bit of time left, though, before we figure that stuff out. So yeah, Futon makes the play over to the east. Catfish is going to be next.
And based on this route, I could even see him backtrack to go check the pyramid, so then Circle of Bushes is going to end up being the last thing he checks. And that was kind of the worry about doing Skull Woods.
I mean, it made sense, though, because you could get a crystal and at least knock out 2 quick locations that are right next to each other.
And T-Rock is Ether Medallion, which we got from the Bombos tablet, so all that's left is that G Tower big key on the torch, but you know the probability of that is also pretty slim. So,
and I gotta say though too, take a look at take a look at the timers right now. Hughbliss is entering the 7th crystal dungeon right now. Bootless at 1 hour and 10 minutes. Just let that sink in for a moment.
Sinking in.
Alright, now that that's sunk in, let's move on. Futon is going to the pyramid now.
Kitchen sinking in.
Call a plumber.
Mario?
So yeah, Futon is going to need to get those Titan's Mitts from the Circle of Bushes in order to get the Ice Rod from the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, and that's
Not
the thing is
once the dwarves, the blacksmiths. Why do I confuse
once he gets the Titan Mitts though, you know, he's probably thinking, oh, Ice Palace, Meyer. You know, he could easily go straight to a dungeon after that because it's V27. Dungeons are usually always the best option.
Right, so, and getting... Where's he going now? He's gonna mirror right here. And, oh wow, that was a pretty precise mirror.
He's just showing off now. Oh, he's gonna go check that sewer chest.
That's right. Which I believe was just 20 rupees when Hughbliss checked it.
That's a good routing option. Unfortunately, it's not gonna pay out for him, but at the same time, that's, you know, good on him to remember that.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, you're right though about him possibly heading into dungeons after getting the Titan's Mitts, because when you're going to get those from a fairly obvious spot this late in, you're going to feel behind. So you want to kind of rush on those crystal dungeons. Oh, there's Quake.
There it is. That change-on room always has something good, usually. If it's not like a small key, it's usually an item or the big key. Or a dungeon map, or a dungeon compass. Or a junk item.
You just literally listed everything it could be.
What are you talking about?
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk? Oh, Futon's gonna go check the Hera basement next.
Oof. Oh no, Futon.
Yeah, that's rough. So about that game 3, guys.
We've got a little bit of time still.
Let's see if they've scheduled it yet.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate play to go check the Hera basement. I mean, one benefit could be maybe we'll find half magic or something. Maybe we'll find the duplicate Titan's Mitts that don't exist. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. This is easy mode, right? Where there are like 2 of everything. So there's like 4 progressive gloves somewhere. Imagine if like they changed the secondary tournament to the easy mode.
I was more so thinking maybe there should be 10 individual gloves, 1 for each finger.
Just got a bunch of like putting bugles on your fingers, but it's a bunch of Titan Mitts instead.
So then, when you want to
just think about the tiny dark rocks I could pick up with these.
If we're going to be talking about food as progression items in this game, does that mean that when you want to use the flute, you just put 2 Pringles in your mouth like a duck?
Yes, but which Pringles? We're talking about like those quote-unquote pizza-flavored Pringles? Those are the best. Sour cream and cheddar. Oh, okay, let me stop.
Yeah, I'm an original Pringles guy myself.
That's fine. I forgive you. Oh, big play from Futon.
Must admit, I was worried that Futon was actually going to forget about this location.
I guess he bailed on Hera basement. Alright, well, this is big. You know, with Ice Palace and Meyer being options, but the blacksmiths are, like, literally right there.
It's true that they are, but like I said, you're feeling behind at this point. You want to stick with your crystal dungeons in your gut, even if you know that there's a really good chance the blacksmiths are going to have something.
Oh, he did the spike cave. Got it. And, yep. So we might get to see Meyer from Futon.
Oh no. Oh no. Maybe he wants those triple booms, I don't know.
I gotta say, it's not a good feeling to lose a race in V27 due to overworld. I know that feeling. Because it's like, no, V27, dungeons, dungeons, dungeons. Oh, except this time it's overworld as well. Like, oh, okay, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, it always keeps you guessing. There's no real rhyme or reason. Things are where they are just because of reasons. And you either get lucky, or you get slightly less lucky.
Mm-hmm. Well, Futon is going to be picking up his gold sword here.
I'd be happy to see that, but not what he's going to be looking for.
Yeah. Especially, well, because with Tempered and Silvers, you have everything you need. So this still could be a big key on the torch, guys. No, it's not over. We're talking like it's over, but there's still the slightest of chances. The slimmest of chances. The shortest of chances. That looks like we will get to see Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave on Futon's side. So, but at this point, what are we looking for? Powder, mushroom, bug
powder,
net?
mushroom, bug net, burna, and just for the sake of answering that question, the only other thing not marked off on the tracker would be Aghanim, but we're not going to find him in a chest.
Or Red Boom. That is an option too.
True.
Alrighty, guys, it's that time of the race where I was almost going to say a bad thing. Well, not necessarily a bad thing, just appropriate. Anyway, we got 22 chests coming up for you potentially, and one of those is going to be holding a big key that these players need to finish this game. Will it be on the torch? Will it be in Tile Room? It's going to be somewhere stupid. Let's find out. Now, for the sake of having an entertaining race, obviously, I want it to be on the torch. And it's not because I'm biased. I promise. It would be hilarious at this point.
It really, you know, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It would be funny, and I would feel awful for imhughbliss at the same time.
But that's kind of the perk of being a commentator or being a viewer, is like, you'd hate this if you were playing it, but we're just watching it, so we love it. We want the craziest, most complicated scenarios. Even maybe the most trolly. Alright, moment of truth. Is it on the torch? Oh! Just
nope.
the powder. Bummer. Alright, we will definitely be seeing a Game 3 from these two opponents at this point.
That does seem likely at this point.
And the thing is, we actually really haven't seen too many Game 3s out of this secondary tournament. A lot of times it's been a clean 2-0.
Yeah, as we get further on, though, I suspect we may see more and more. Oh, Futon's gonna enter Turtle Rock without the Ice Rod. No, it probably seemed like a good idea at the time for him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it'd be the most convenient scenario, but at the same time... Especially when you have, like, Olive Ice, Olive Mire.
You just gotta make a play and go for it, though. And the thing that I always say is that as long as you keep moving, as long as you keep getting from location to location, you really can't beat yourself up over anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks like he just wanted to open it, so... Let's see what his next play is gonna be.
And there's
the mushroom. Looks like he's going into Ice Rod, so we'll probably see a full clear out of Ice Palace.
Which means that if he wants to, he could still use powder.
Alright, we're still looking for that big key. Where is it? There's half magic. Compass. There's the third shield.
Third shield.
So we had one in Pod, one in Skull, last one in G-Tower, so they can go back and do the laser bridge. Oh yeah, and G-Tower was friendly, or T-Rock was friendly, and they didn't force their players to have to do laser bridge, so even that cape wasn't required at all.
Very quick clear of the penguin room, though. Having the butter sword. Futon's gonna be full clearing the ice palace.
You gonna see a bomb jump from imhughbliss for this? Looks like it.
Oof!
Oh no! That hitbox just barely like touched him.
Those things are like made of rubber.
I gotta say, this is an incredible time to be.
Oh no!
I feel bad for laughing, but that was hilarious.
Let's try it again.
Third time's the charm. Oh jeez.
There you go. Yeah, that's only a one-tile jump, so it's actually pretty easy as far as bomb jumps go, based on their knockback. But wow, that was just all sorts of unfortunate circumstance.
Let's see, Ice Armless from imhughbliss and Futon's bomb jump coming up. Silver Arrow's making that fight free, and Futon getting his bomb jump on the first try, so... Big key? No. Big key? No. Big key?
There it is.
Yes! Called it. So that was 1, 2, 3... 16?
That was
17.
17. Full left side, well, with the 2 on the right is 17.
2 right, full left.
A little low on health, though. Does he still have that bottle fairy?
He certainly does. Alright, let's see what kind of gauntlet we got from Hugh. Now, going up the gauntlet at 1 hour and 22, without boots, mind you. Of course, one of the fortunate things is he did get to skip the entirety of one of the longer dungeons of the game, Palace of Darkness. So, you know, despite finding the boots in there for Futon, you know, it's still a little bit of time commitment that you don't have to throw out.
Nice patience getting across that bridge. You see how the gauntlet goes with only 1 heart. Unfortunately, without the boots and only 1 heart, he wasn't able to get across that gap and go into the refill room. Not quite sure how the setup for that bomb jump would even work, but I'm sure it's possible.
Impressive seeing him go this far without seeing him go this far unscathed. Picking up another heart, so he's going to be able to live a little bit longer. Taking a shot to the Beamos to the face. No boots, so he doesn't really get to dash through this room conveniently.
Down to half of a heart.
Half a heart, skipping the full magic pot. Fire rod. Just clearing that room quickly.
Avoid that fireball, rather.
Shout us to the fire shield.
And the spark. And he's just going to go straight into Lambo.
He's got that fairy. He don't need no. He also didn't get the powders, so he wouldn't be able to heal himself anyway.
Right, and with half magic, depleting that just to use the mushroom glitch will take a decent amount of time.
Yeah, decent
nice job,
Lamola too.
Not even going to pick up the heart in this room, huh? Maybe he's looking for it. There it is. Okay. And there's a magic in the bottom right, heart in the top left.
The only potential way I could see him taking a death would be if he gets hit by one of those guards on the falling bridge. Ooh, because he doesn't have the boots, so he can't dash through that quickly.
Right, and even still, sometimes they poke at you a little bit.
Yeah.
Got to backtrack on that one a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Actually, that red mill is tanking a lot of that damage for him.
Mm-hmm. And then using the iframes, it's just gonna walk right through him.
Ooh! He got hit by the firebar as he fell. Thank you, Japanese 1.0.
Wow. Of all the places to finally die, you know, go through the whole gauntlet and then to die there. It's quite tragic.
And at this point, he's just going to wait for this torch to go out and relight them all. It's a tight timing window on these, so it's not a bad play, just to make sure that you get it.
He doesn't have the boots, so He wasn't sure if he was have enough time to do it. And Futon clearing up Ice Palace. I don't think any of the items he found there were anything worth mentioning. So.
Unfortunately not.
So the question is, what is his next play going to be? That Ice Rod sitting over at the blacksmith's. Easy location to skip when you value, depending on how you value the chest in the game.
Oh, he must have missed something in Ice Palace.
Oh no, he probably gambled on Cold Stare having the last item and the double jelly room. So
double jelly room that gets everyone.
Mm-hmm. Not sure what he was looking for at this point.
There's always the chance he was just looking for 20 rupees and found it.
Ah, sweet, 20 rupees. Just what I wanted. I think that was also the chest he opened up in the double helmet room as well. Oh, careful. Aww.
Only reasonable thing I could think of that he'd be looking for at this point would be the boots, because you never know.
Shouts to children. Nice. Alrighty. Hugh taking out Boldorm. Let's see if he checks this last chest. 300 rupees. There
you go.
Moving on to Agatu. At this point, Sankheart would have been a nice find.
That's true. That's a really good point. That could have been one in Link's chest, though, but we had full health then, so we don't have a clue.
True. Sankheart or even like a heart piece to like refill your health as well.
Yeah. Futon not feeling comfortable with the lineup of that bomb jump. Or realizing that he didn't hit the switch yet.
I would do it. Though at this point, does he really need to...
I'm not sure. I
don't think he does, because you could just go north in the cross room with the spike, drop down, and then just go straight down, so... And it looks like he realized that now.
It's just such an instinctual thing to... Oh, nice triple. It's just such instinct to go for that bomb jump almost every time, no matter what you're doing in the dungeon. And if nothing else, it's good practice.
Does that look to me like a 3 cycle? Maybe 4? I wasn't counting. But yeah, finished him off with that triple. Very nice.
Here we go, entering Ganon at 1 hour and 28 minutes.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for Futon because, he could have checked those circle of bushes right after finishing Swamp, and then, he would not have been too far behind from imhughbliss. Alright, let's see these tempered sword strats. 3, 4, 5, 6... Surprised he's not taking advantage of that spawn location, because he spawns up at the top left or top right, then you can just, not only dodge the fire bats entirely by staying inside of them, but then you can get the spins on him, the double spins.
Top left is a little bit more difficult for that, though, because you want to stand against the wall to get those double spins, and the fire bats do circle right in that area. You can definitely get one of them, though, before they start going around.
Yeah, you just gotta line up with the top of his head to do it on the left side. And I learned that from practicing swordless, because then if you line them up and then you can just wail on them with the hammer and you don't move left or right at all. But it is still kind of a scary situation.
Yeah, I would say top right's definitely more ideal. So we will get to see what's in Misery Mire, though.
Maybe, or we'll probably see a forfeit before we see even the first chest.
Oh,
knowing Futon. Oh wow!
Triple to finish that off. I didn't know that he had enough room on the platform. Well done, though. Nice Ganon fight. Nice run overall. imhughbliss execution looked great for most of it. All of it. The great parts of it. Well done. GG to imhughbliss with a first place time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 38 seconds.
Securing a Game 3 for this set. And we'll,
I mean, a sub 90-minute seed bootless.
Yeah.
No matter what, is something to be happy about and proud of for yourself.
That says quite a bit. And we'll chill for a bit, see if Hugh's going to join. It looks like Futon's going to go ahead and at least keep going for a little bit more. He's going to show us what's in Mire. Yeah, overall, that was a pretty straightforward seed. There was really nothing obnoxious about this seed for the most part, you know. But yeah, Pendant Mire and Pendant Pod were just completely... Were not required at all. So, all that was required was a Pendant Hera to get the mirror.
You know, the problem with the boot location, too, even though it's such a great item, is that it was sequence break locked out for a while because we didn't have the lamp.
Mm-hmm.
It was in such a deep part of the dungeon that the lamp would have been required to get to it, and by the time that we got the lamp, there were more than enough other options to go for that were a lot more viable than a pendant dungeon.
Yeah. I don't think it was a bad play at all, though. Because, you know, as I said earlier, those plays into pendant dungeons early are fine. And, you know, boots also allows you to save a lot of time throughout. But,
and that's just that. For that point of the game that we were at when we entered Pod, it was a fantastic play. Unfortunately, it didn't wind up working out, but for what we knew at the time, there was certainly no fault in trying it. But that's just the way that Rando works.
Yeah, unfortunately, imhughbliss does not have a mic, so we will not be able to get an interview out of them. But yeah, congratulations to him on taking this win. The question is, is Futon going to be heading into T-Rock at this point? He probably is trying to metagame, and he saw Hugh finish quicker, so he's probably thinking, okay, Ice Rod had been super convenient then, so... Which is definitely kind of the downside of, like, looking at IRC when you're still playing. I know I've, like, especially, like, in the weeklies, I'll see, like, Christos Owen finish at a ridiculous time, and I'm like, oh, okay, clearly the big key was super convenient in G-Tower, so I'll route it differently this time, and then it ends up just costing me more time and stuff like that, so... Yeah, this was... It started, like, it all started to go a little downhill for Futon when he put off Shovel, which we'll ask him when we get the chance if it was just the fact that he didn't mark it on his tracker, or if he actually forgot about it, or if he was just choosing to put it off until later. Which isn't wrong, because, you know, we had other options. Hammer could have been anywhere. But yeah, that put off him going up to Pendant Hera until a little bit later, so he got his mirror later. And then at that point, he had pretty much done almost everything. I think, yeah, pretty much almost everything in the Dark World that he could do without the mirror. And then, you know, it's a 50-50. All right, I got the mirror. What do I check? Do I check dungeons or do I check overworld? So he did Swamp. And then after Swamp, he's like, all right, what do I do now? I have Fire Rod, so let me just go do these Fire Rod block sections. And it's like, all right, do I go east to check North of Graveyard, King's Tomb, Catfish, Pyramid? Or do I go south, do Circle of Bushes? He's going to have to be a little careful that he doesn't get bopped by the chain jump. He does have the cape if he wants to save his hearts and use that. But
that was close.
He's electing not to.
He's going to open it right there with them both on top of the chest. Certainly risky, but it worked out.
I thought it was interesting that, you know, every time that Futon would, like, get some sort of advantage or find an item that would help him catch up, like, he would find the next item that we needed. Like, Futon found a sword, and then Hugh found a sword. Then when Futon got the sword that Hugh found, then Hugh found the fourth sword. So he ended up, still getting Tempered Sword regardless. But, yeah, I mean... And because of Futon's late mirror, suddenly Circle of Bushes was not a priority anymore because it was just a single location, kind of in the middle. Of course, it could have gone differently if he had checked it right after, or even before doing Swamp Palace, since it's just, a screen over from the Dark World, or the portal. But, that's how it goes sometimes.
It's just the way it works. You follow based on the items that you have. You place importance based on the amount of items that you can get, and yeah, those Circle of Bushes was just one thing. It was the right one thing, but still just one thing, and that's all that you focus on when you don't have a clue what it is. Well, this will feed our curiosity to know what's on Laser Bridge.
True.
And inside Mimic's Cave, too.
So we've seen Powder. We got Mushroom.
So what else is left? Cane of
Burna? Red, and Red Meringue was in Mire. I believe there's still an item left in Mire that Futon didn't check.
Could find the Riot Shield.
Well, no, the third shield was in the Rando room.
Oh, that's right. We did collectively get all three of them. Very nice menu time by Hugh. 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Sub 3. Fantastic.
Alright, so while Futon is going through the rest of this dungeon, let's take a look and see what we got going on today for Randomizer. The only other race we have scheduled in the secondary tournament today is going to be at 10:30 p.m. on this channel, Lightyear versus Bad Moons, Game 1. Let's take a look at the main schedule. On the main schedule, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races today. Our next one being coming up at 3 p.m. the AJNeb174, Ajneb, Ben, our last tourney champion, versus the benevolent German Tear, going to be over on Speed Gaming. Following that is going to be Genja versus Kyle at 5 p.m. Oh man, look who's on commentary. It doesn't matter. Following that at 7 p.m. So these are all pretty well spaced. Jet versus Pryor. Then at 8 p.m. is going to be Wolfie versus... Is it pronounced Tojso or Tajso? Anyone know? Anyway, that person. And then at 9 p.m. we got Big Dunka versus Firme. And at 10 p.m. Mr. Barry Bonds versus I Am the Schwartz. So that is our rando schedule for the day. Should be fun. That's a lot of hype matches coming up, and you know, we're about, I'd say we're like at the halfway point in the group stages. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. You know, some of the groups are like waiting on one more person to race. You know, some players are done, etc., etc.
And speaking of done, unfortunately, it does look like Futon has dropped a forfeit. So he will be withdrawing from this match, and they will be scheduling a Game 3.
Alrighty, well, with that, that's going to do it for us, guys. So, GG's to both of our runners. Congratulations to imhughbliss, setting up that Game 3 scenario. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name has been Willard J. Bradley.
And I'm In the Name of DT. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys once more. Look forward to doing it more in the future as well. Hoping that you have a wonderful Monday evening or afternoon, depending on where you're at.
Oh, yeah. Also, shout-outs to our tracker, Sabotender, as well as our restreamer, No Raystra. Got it.
That was easy. Come on.
It was dramatic effect. I was pausing for dramatic effect.
Oh, right. Because the restreamer was fantastic.
Yes, exactly.
Got
I want
it.
to prolong that name a little bit longer, but I would assume that Futon wouldn't want to hop into for internet news, so we'll just go ahead and cut. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys over at Speed Gaming for the next main tourney race. Take care.
Enjoy your night, folks, and be well.